Happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope you all had a good Father's Day and a good weekend. Mine was, of course, busy because I was at the miniature golf course all weekend. But now I'm getting out here and I'm going to get a walk in. I do have a couple of quick topics today, but today is more about getting a good long walk in rather than anything else. But hello, everyone. I am Semi-Retired Bob. I talk about the Carnivore Diet, all things related to the Carnivore Diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. If you're new to the channel, welcome. What you're watching is you're watching me walk. I know that doesn't seem really exciting, but if you consider a little over 3 years ago, I couldn't do this. I could barely stand up for a couple minutes without severe pain, and now I'm out here walking. It gets a bit more interesting. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. It means a lot to me that you spend just a few moments of your day with me. I would like to ask everyone to help me out just a little bit. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Drop down in the comments and say hi, Bob. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. All these things are absolutely free and help me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. I am 62 years old and I'm doing things I couldn't do when I was 40. Like out here walking every day, and this last weekend, I can't remember, other than the last 2 years, a time when I could work more than one day without feeling absolutely exhausted and every joint in my body was sore. I am a little tired today, but I did just work 4 days in the hot and the busy. It was quite a bit busier than I expected it to be all 4 days I worked. I'm going up that big hill that I start my walks with. I'm not pushing it very hard because I'm hoping to get all the way around the big block today. Maybe even a little detour through the park, because it's been a minute since I've been out here and gotten a full big walk in. Hopefully, I did, as I was driving out of here, figured out what was going on down on the street where it was all blocked off the other day. There, you can't really see it, but each section of the street is made up of 4 big slabs of concrete from one side to the other. And they were taking 2 of those sections out and replacing them. When I drove by, they had one of them replaced. So I'm kind of hoping they got the other one replaced yesterday, so there won't be all that heavy equipment down there in my way. But we'll see when we get there. It's not too bad a day out here in Omaha, Nebraska. It's significantly cooler than it has been. It's only about 75 degrees out right now because we had a pretty heavy storm roll through here last night about 7 o'clock. I don't think we got any hail, but it certainly rained really, really hard. So I think, since I was, considering going to the car wash, I don't have to do that now because it rained hard enough. And this is interesting. You notice how, let me adjust this just a little bit. You notice how you hardly ever notice cars until you buy one yourself. Like, let's say you buy a red Camaro. Now all of a sudden, anywhere you go, you see a red Camaro. And now I'm walking here, and the car I pass by every day is a Ford Escape hybrid, just like mine. This one's gray instead of blue, and it has a little bit of surface rust on the rear quarter panels and the wheel wells, just like mine does. I've been walking around this block all this time and never even noticed that that was a Ford Escape. Kind of weird how that stuff works. But anyway, let's get on into it. I've kind of rambled my way up that hill. The first thing I want to talk about real quick is last night, as I was watching YouTube videos, Dr. Baker put up a video. I think it was titled like the carnivore version of the sugar diet, and it's a very interesting video. It basically goes into that the sugar diet is a low protein diet, so he did an almost totally fat diet for 3 days. And he does workouts, and he does a really good job of explaining everything he's doing and why. So if you're looking for, a way to possibly break that stall, you might go watch his video, or you might just go watch it because I found it extremely interesting. And I think you will too. The other thing I really wanted to talk about today, for those of us that are like I was, with type 2 diabetes, many carnivores, as you get deeper into the process, slowly start to see their A1C elevate just a little bit. And I don't think that it's a problem. We're told that this is the A1Cs that we should be targeting. But remember, it's the extreme highs as we eat carbs that actually damage our system. Now remember, I'm not a doctor, I don't play one on TV, I don't proclaim to know the science, but it's the big spikes that do the damage. As long as our blood glucose levels are staying fairly stable, and the only sugar we're getting pumped into our blood is by gluconeogenesis rather than eating carbs, I don't think there's a whole lot to worry about there, because I think our bodies are much better designed than that. I don't think our bodies would have a mechanism that could cause us problems in the long run. I mean, we all know that regardless of all the diets that they proclaim can help type 2 diabetes, because I tried them all. I did everything the dietitian told me to do when I was first diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And we all know how that ended, with a triple bypass surgery. But now that I'm eating a carnivore diet, for me it's a lot closer to a lion diet than anything else, because I eat mostly beef. Looks like eggs are coming back down. Hopefully I'll be able to eat some eggs pretty soon. But the not ingesting carbs is what really got my diabetes not just under control. I say it's completely gone, because I don't take any pills for it anymore. My A1C is fine. My blood sugars are fine. I do still test once in a great while just to see, and they've been holding pretty stable. But the thing that I started talking about that I didn't quite finish my thought. I think that the reason some long-term carnivores see their A1Cs starting to creep up a little bit is the theory that has been thrown out there. You can see that construction. They didn't get the other slab of concrete poured yet. They may be waiting on the first one they poured to cure some more, but that's what was making all the ruckus down here last week when I tried to go around the block. But I think your A1C starts to creep up because your red blood cells start to live a little longer. You know, the A1C test is based on the fact that your red blood cells live on average 60 days. So they can tell how much glycation has happened to them during that time. But what does it do to the test if your red blood cells even live just 5 days longer? That doesn't seem that far-fetched, and it could really skew the numbers against us. So I don't think a slowly rising A1C is anything to get too concerned about, because, as I said earlier, it's the huge peaks that do the real damage. And if you get a continuous glucose monitor, you can tell if you're eating something that actually gives you that big spike, or if the amount of protein that you're eating with your meal gives you that nice gentle bump that activates your insulin and does all the good stuff that we need it to do. There's another branch down. Like I said, it rained pretty hard last night, but I think I'm going to turn the corner up here and not go on down and take that extra little loop through the park, just because I'm starting to get just a little bit tired. This big block without the extra loop on there through the park is a solid 1.5 mile walk, which is a good enough walk for my first walk out after those 4 days. Hopefully I can get a little bit bigger walk in tomorrow. And at some point, I wanted to cut the grass last night, but was just too wiped out after working 4 days in a row. And now everything is soaked because it rained really hard last night. So hopefully I can get the grass cut tomorrow if it doesn't rain again this afternoon. But we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I'm going to flip the camera around. I'll have a few more thoughts when we get back up to the house. But for now, let's go ahead and enjoy some music. Well, here we are back again. I'm not quite back to the house yet. I can tell you, even though it was 75 when I left the house, it actually feels hotter today than it did yesterday. And it was 90 something yesterday. But there was no humidity and there was a pretty good breeze blowing. Today, the air is mostly still, and because of the storm last night, I can tell there's a lot of humidity in the air, and I am covered in sweat thanks to that humidity. But one more quick thing I want to mention. For those of you that don't like sales pitches, you can tune out for just a moment. My last couple of live streams, I had forgotten to mention the Semiretiredbob products. As we all know, our body's own mechanism for healing, one of them, is to release our adult stem cells. They float around the blood and do magics. We also know that after the age of 18, our ability to release those adult stem cells begins to go down. It's part of the natural aging process. It's not the whole thing by a long shot. It's just one little part of it. Semiretiredbob Stem Enhance Ultra boosts your own ability to release those adult stem cells back to levels from where you were before. I'm not asking you to buy anything. Just click the link. Gosh, what are all these cars doing out here? But anyway, just click the link in the description. Go out to the website and read the science and the testimonials and see if it's something you might be interested in. If not, that's okay. If you are, feel free to purchase something or send me an email for more information. And they even have a program where if you are, like me, struggling to make ends meet, you can actually earn a little bit of pocket money by becoming your own independent business owner. That's not for everyone, but if you'd like to explore that opportunity, send me an email. If you need more detailed information about everything, Professor K has an entire playlist on his channel. But the first thing I would suggest you guys do today, if you haven't seen it already, go watch Dr. Baker's video from last night, because I found it very interesting. And me personally, I don't find, or I should say, I don't see a problem with people that are long-term carnivores seeing their A1C creep up. I mean, I know Rick down in Miami hasn't actually been to a doctor in a really long time, but does he look like he's having problems or suffering damage because his A1C may or may not be elevated a little? Or Kelly Hogan, or Dr. Baker, and you know, the list goes on and on and on. So don't let a trip to the doctor's office, and if you see your A1C, you know, maybe you got it checked a year after you started and it was 4.8, and now it's crept back up into the 5.3, 5.4 range, maybe even into the 5.7, 5.8, 5.9 range, where they call it pre-diabetes. Remember, it's not the average that hurts you. It's the big spikes when you're dumping carbs. Professor K has an entire video series on this as well. Dr. Barry talks about this a lot. So you don't have to take my word for it, because I'm just an old retired truck driver. But anyway, I hope you all are having a great day. Don't forget to get out there and be 1% better. Today, tomorrow, and every day. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you in the next one.